can see we have Masoi joining us from California. You're welcome. Thank you so much for joining today's webinar. We have Mark from Kenya, Samuel from Kenya, Chris from China, and Florence Wambui from Kenya. Wow, awesome. We really love and appreciate the diversity in tech communities and what technology has also enabled us. Like we've created a global platform, and we are able to engage with one another across the globe. So that's pretty awesome, and we're very happy to have you guys here. So at this point, I would like to welcome Rose Delilah. She's the community coordinator at Zindi Africa, and she's gonna tell us a little bit more about Zindi and this collaboration that we have with Moringa School. Rose?
Mic check. Can you hear me?
Check, Rose, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome. So hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this webinar. We are so excited to have you on call. So my name is Rose Delilah Gesicho. For those who we have interacted, I am an AI enthusiast. Let me just start by saying that. I'm very enthusiastic about AI in general, and maybe we have met as a technical mentor at Moringa School, or maybe we have met in the community as I'm currently the community coordinator at Zindi, or we have just met in different spheres of influence in the community. So I welcome you all. And for today, I'll just be representing Zindi as a community coordinator, showing you guys the importance of data science and why this collaboration is came up to be. So as mentioned by Sasha, Moringa School will be given more detail as we continue. But for Zindi, I'll just share my screen and get you guys acquainted to what Zindi is. And just a moment as I share my screen so that I can get started. I hope you can see my screen. Yes?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, so even before I can get started on explaining what Zindi is, maybe some of us have interacted with Zindi, and I would like to ask one of our participants to either raise their hand or put it on the chat what they, if they have interacted with Zindi, or who they think Zindi is or what Zindi is. So if you have been able to maybe interact with Zindi at any point of time or just seen it anywhere, you can maybe share or just raise your hand and we can have you picked and we can get to hear from you just in 1 minute. And who knows, you might get swag. I know most people don't use that term because we're in virtual, but we can get you something. So anyone who'd like to try? Any volunteer? Okay, so you can maybe put it on the chat as I explain then. So for today, we'll be talking about Zindi. And the reason I put this tagline here is building AI together. So this is what we stand for at Zindi. We believe that we are helping grow the data science community in Africa, and we want to build AI together with each and every data enthusiast in Africa. So that we can better solve our problems here in Africa and also just grow our talent and be able to, prepare for the future of work with the knowledge we have for data science and bring Africa to the map. So Zindi is a social enterprise whose mission is to mobilize a vibrant community of data scientists across Africa, solving the region's most pressing problems. So another alternative that people go with when they are talking about Zindi is Kaggle. So Kaggle is a platform where people will engage in competitions, and there are data sets there where people just get the data sets and work on them. So let's say Zindi is an African Kaggle, because we take data that is from Africa, we put it in the platform for Africans to engage with, because at the end of the day, we are only able to solve problems and help our society by having data or information that is representative of our background or our society, so that we're able to solve those problems. So that's why Zindi was Zindi came up. And maybe a fun fact that you don't know about Zindi is it's derived from a Swahili word, Zidisha Ushindi. So for those who are not acquainted with Swahili, that means like increasing number of winners or just increasing winners in Africa or in the data science ecosystem. So that's why it's called Zidisha Ushindi, and Zindi is derived from that. So that's a fun fact you can take from this. So just a quote to share is, the only way we are going to fix Africa's problems is with African solutions. So as mentioned, data that is available on the Zindi platform is data that is derived from Africa, and we want to help solve these problems in Africa by using data and tech and AI, and that's why we have established this. We saw this gap, and we are pushing towards solving Africa's problems using African data. So that's a quote we can take from Lawrence Muthonga. So some accomplishments that you can talk of Zindi till date is Zindi has over 30,000 data scientists registered on the Zindi platform. So this is a large number of data scientists you can engage in with day to day when you're taking part in the different competitions or hackathons, and you can get to familiarize yourself and get knowledge from these different data scientists. So we also have representation in 45 African countries. We have amazing ambassadors in these countries who are advocating for AI and data science, and also establishing a connection with Zindi to help people also, learn from the platform and engage in this competition and solve problems or African problems using data. So we have 45 African countries represented and still growing. We also have 6,000 plus Twitter followers, and for the representation and inclusivity, we have 25% of Zindi users being female. So we are also huge on inclusivity, and we want to ensure that everyone is represented and included in this emerging technology time, or in this fourth industrial revolution, as most of us call it. So another thing is that we have launched over 150 competitions and hackathons in the platform, and we also have up to 2,000 data scientists competing on each of these competitions. So another amazing thing is that you can earn when you're actually learning. So there's over $300,000 of prizes won by data scientists. Sorry for the background noise. $300,000 won by data scientists in the platform. So most people actually go to the platform as a way of learning and gaining knowledge, but at the end of it all, you find yourself getting rewarded for it. So just ensure that you plug in, and you never know, you might upskill and also just get to win some of these amazing awards. And also we usually have we usually host the largest Pan-Africa virtual hackathon, which has, for last year, it had over 1,000 plus students joining in from 156 universities in Africa. And that is the Umoja Hack. So we'll have an Umoja Hack 2022. So watch out for that. Ensure that you're ready to participate. And it will again be the largest hackathon that will be hosted in Africa. So please ensure that you plug in and get ready to, win some prizes and also skill up in your data science journey. So for those who have not engaged with Zindi completely, you can go to the platform at zindi.africa or just Zindi Africa, and you'll get to see how the platform looks, get to interact with how the platform looks. So I'll just pick a small snippet of how the Zindi platform is currently. So for those who interacted with the Zindi platform beforehand, it's looking a bit different right now. So just go and check it out. You can filter, maybe if you want rewards, money rewards, or you want just knowledge-based data sets to work on, or competitions to work on, which are just knowledge-based. You can input that as a filter. You can get beginner-friendly competitions to work on, and then you can just get different skill set, or you want to do maybe natural language processing or computer vision. You can always filter there, and different areas of expertise you want to look into. Is it biology or is it arts? You can always filter there. And yeah, that's much about it. Just high level introduction to Zindi. Definitely we'll get to talk more about Zindi in upcoming events, but stay tuned. And if you have any other or any questions on the Zindy platform, reach out to me at delilah@zindy.africa and I'll be able to answer, or you can also input it on the chat right now and I'll be able to type it for you or just respond to it as the session goes on. So yeah, that's much about it on Zindy, and I'll just pass it back to Sasha to take us through Moringa School.
Okay, thank you so much, Rose. And I hope everyone now has an idea of what Zindi do and the community that they have worked on for the last years in building, the competitions that they offer, and hackathons. I hope you guys were paying attention to the kind of awards that are up for grabs on that platform. So be sure to plug in and start working on your project. If you already have a bearing in data science, it's good to also learn through practice. So I'd highly encourage you guys to register on Zindi and and start working on your projects and participating in the competition. So as I had mentioned earlier, I am the community engagement lead at Moringa School, and sorry, let me just, great. All right, so I'm just gonna take you guys briefly through who we are and what we do at Moringa School, and how you guys can apply and join. So in a nutshell, Moringa School was founded back in 2014 here in Nairobi, Kenya, by Audrey Cheng. And what she had noticed, she was doing research, and she had noticed that there was a skills gap in the market in terms of like ready tech talent for the industry. So the idea was to come up, design a program where students or anyone who's interested in getting into tech can come and learn at in a short period, in a short span. So we started off as a boot camp, right? So and as of now, we have trained over 4,000 students and successfully placed 85% of our graduates into employment. And our main goal is that by the year of 2030, we will have placed 200,000 knowledge workers in opportunities, be it tech entrepreneurship, be it employment, and so forth. So as of now, we offer a vast number of tech-based courses, and I'm going to take you guys through what we offer. So you can see here that we are a multidisciplinary learning accelerator. What this basically means, we train in an accelerated and blended learning model in delivering our courses. So contrary to how our traditional universities run their courses, say for like a 4-year degree program, we have compressed all that curriculum and content to deliver it in a maximum of 6 months. So these are the two main courses that we offer at Moringa School, and they are currently available both online, and our software development course is also available for physical classes to those who are interested or within Nairobi and can access our campus to take on the courses. Our software development program is 20 weeks long, and we focus mainly on full stack web development and mobile app development. We have a couple of stack of programming languages. So once you join, you will kick off with the basics of programming straight from HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and you will also get to specialize in Python or Java, JavaScript, and the frameworks that are attached to those stacks. For those, I know most of us have joined this webinar and we're interested in data science. So we do offer a data science course, both part-time for those who are not able to commit to a full-time program. It is 33 weeks long. What you have here on the screen, this is our full-time program. It is 23 weeks long. And when you join our data science program, you will learn with both R and Python throughout the course. And we do have machine learning and machine learning as part of the curriculum. So our learning model is quite unique from the other learning institutions. We do a blended model of both self-paced learning, and you also get support from technical instructors. So our online track has been adopted to simulate what happens, say, like in an office environment, and also what is taught on campus. So for anyone who is concerned about like, will I thrive or will I succeed with taking up an online course? Yes, you will at Moringa School. The quality is the same. The simulation is pretty much the same. And we focus more on project-based learning. So at Moringa School, we thrive on practicals, right? So you will be learning through working on technical projects and real life data sets, business, real life like business examples throughout your course. As part of the curriculum, we also train in professional skills. So not only just the technical side of, say, of data science, you will also learn how to work in a team. You know, those soft skills that are required for you to thrive in the workplace. Collaboration, how to do presentations, how to pitch your ideas and the likes. All that is also part of our curriculum. So these are the upcoming intake dates that we have for the remainder of this quarter of 2021. So if you're interested, please visit our website, that is www.moringaschool.com, and read on all the information around our courses. And if you are interested in getting into a boot camp where you'll have support of your peers, you'll have support of technical instructors and project-based learning, then be sure to apply for these upcoming intakes, and our admissions team will get back to you and just take you through the process of getting enrolled. Right, so that's in summary is all about Moringa School. So if you have any questions about our program, be sure to leave them in the chat box. I will be happy to address them, and I can see a couple of my colleagues are also on here. So we'll tag team in just responding to any questions that you may have. Great, so without much further ado, I would like to welcome our moderator and our panelists for today, who are going to take us through a very amazing discussion around like, if you are looking into making a career switch, nothing should limit you. So our panelists are here today just to share tips, share their journeys with us, how they got into data science, maybe with zero background in math and statistics. They're gonna give us all the details and address all the questions that you had posed to us in the registration form. So our moderator for today is Mark. Mark, maybe you can unmute yourself. Thank you so much. And he's going to take us through from this point. Karibu sana, Mark.
Thank you so much, Sasha. That was a very amazing introduction into what is going to happen today. Good evening to everyone. I really hope you're as excited as we are about this. My name is Mark Tibo. I am a Moringa School alumni and I'll be your moderator today. So just think of me as the bridge between you and our panelists. I'll just be driving the conversation forward, but many of the questions that I'll be addressing will be from you guys. So without further ado, let's just jump into the thick of it and just start off with the introduction of the panel members. And we're going to do it alphabetically. So we're going to start off with Amy, then Ruth, then finally Samuel, in that order.
Cool. Hi. Can I introduce myself?
Yeah, go for it.
Cool. So my name's Amy. I'm a data scientist and competition lead at Zindy. Competitions lead sounds quite weird. It just means I'm a manager. You can think of it like that. My background, I'm from South Africa, went to a South African university. I studied theoretical physics. I have 2 years of coding at my course, but I think this is very important to share. I was the only girl in my second year of computer science, so it was very intimidating being a girl in a maths dominated field, but I also used it to my advantage. I loved playing the dumb blonde and getting the boys to code for me. So I'm telling you this, that my coding skills are very weak, but I am still a data scientist. I really hope that you'll learn that the only way you're going to make it is with enthusiasm and hard work. Another fun fact about me is I've never taken a stats course in my life. So all of those who are scared of stats, you've got me to look up to. Ruth?
Hello, everyone. My name is Ruth. I'm a data scientist by profession, currently at Positive Red. So I have a background in telecommunication engineering. That was a bit weird, but I have always had my brain and head into coding and whatnot. So from COVID last year, I used to travel around a lot doing network optimization and stuff. But when COVID hit, we had to be grounded, and that's when I decided, you know what, about time to think outside the box, you know. So I decided, I looked around, attended this same webinar Moringa had hosted. I wanted to know where can I like really get started. You know, it's so scary when you do not have any coding background and you see all these people writing these awesome codes on YouTube and you're like, oh God, will I be able to reach these standards? But one thing I'll say, Moringa took me from nursery literally to where I am right now. One thing I'd say, one thing I'm looking forward to from this webinar is that if you're at the payment option, you just hold on. At the end of this session, you'll be making your payment and just, it's really worth your money. It's life-changing. Let's say my mindset changed, I feel like I grew in all ways, intellectually, professionally, socially. Just can't sing enough praises about this program. So yeah, from telecommunication engineering, no coding. I used to code in C and C++, but then Python, R, no, nothing. But to this, I was like, whoa, now I need to like learn more, you know? So it kind of leaves you with a yearning, and I like that. So you keep learning every single day. And the model of learning, the model of teaching, I mean, that's awesome because that's what most countries are adopting right now. Because I mean, COVID is here and we have to know how to deal with it and live with it. So the blended learning is just amazing. You get to really, what can I say? Pace yourself and at the same time hold yourself accountable. So you have to be like really disciplined. You have to, at the end of the day, you just, you open up. Yeah, you bloom and it's awesome. So I'm looking forward to this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ruth. Sam? Samuel, are you there?
Hello.
Hello, Samuel.
Yes, I'm here. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm fine. Okay, so maybe just to give a small, introduction about me. So I'm a data scientist, technical mentor at Moringa School, and I was alumni of Moringa School as well. In fact, we were the first very cohort that started data science, and so far so good on my side. So, and apart from that, my first background was in biochemistry, and I'm sure a number of you might be knowing biochemistry, and I've heard that it's a very hard course based on how you draw structures, explaining each and every part of reactions that happens to your body. So that was minus Python or R. So I didn't have anything to do with Python or R. All I knew was just how to unzip the DNAs, get those messenger RNAs, how, the process of breaking. But along the way, I've been able to now shift from biochemistry to data science, although I'm also looking forward how can I be able to merge the two. So that means that in my future studies, in terms of masters, I'm looking forward to be able to combine the two, because I believe there's a gap, especially into medical field, and to be specific, even in our country, there's a gap, and if you could check, data is collected in each and every millisecond is in the medical field, but what do we do with the data? We just file it, but we cannot be able to interpret it. Reason being is because of limited resources and skills to be able to work around. So that's my area of focus. And so in this session, what I'm looking forward to is how I can be able to share my experience in terms of how I was able to switch from one course to the other. And maybe apart from that, I currently work with Omdena. Apart from working with Moringa, I'm partnering with Omdena to work on community projects that can be able to bring an impact and make your skill even grow as people feel your impact as well. So thank you so much, and back to you, Mark.
Thank you, everyone. That was absolutely perfect. In fact, you can see we have such a very diverse backgrounds curated for us here. And I was about to complain to Sasha about the representation. Amy just brought it to my attention that we only have one guy panelist, but I'm thinking I'm the one who's compensating. So now it's 2 on 2.
Yes, you are.
The math is one thing, but we can see what you did there. So from our panel all the way to our moderator, we have a theoretical physicist, we have a biochemist. I'm thinking that's it, yeah. We have an electrical and telecommunications engineer, and finally we have an astrophysicist. So you can see that neither one of us here is statistics oriented or mathematician, though I think Amy does have a master's in applied mathematics, which we are completely overlooking for the sake of the argument here. Anyway, you can see here we have people from very, very diverse backgrounds, and I'm hoping we represent each and every single one of your thoughts, and that's what we're going for. I'm really excited about what we're going to discuss about today, and I'm really hoping we can all just learn and take away something from this webinar by the end of it all. So I remember the first time when I thought about diving into data science, there was a lot of things that I was really considering and a lot of questions that I had, and maybe very minimal guidance because the people who I was looking up to didn't, well, know much about data science. So hopefully today, the questions that we're going to talk about and answer, and also the ones that you're going to also pass on to us, can help you make an informed decision on switching careers into data science and also making it into data science. So let's right off the bat jump into it, and I'm just going to throw these all the way to Amy. before I throw it to anyone else, Amy, what inspired you to make a dive into data science personally?
I don't know how to say this nicely, but money. So it's the truth. I went to university. I chose subjects. I studied physics and maths, applied mathematics. So it's not very statistical. It's more just how does physics work. And I studied that thinking that I would get into teaching. When I finished university, I didn't feel that I was quite ready for teaching. So I thought, what else could I do? A lot of my friends were software developers, and I was like, they're making lots of money. I want to make lots of money too. So that's how I fell into data science. I was working in the, well, I've just got a question. I was working in the conservation field for a bit, working with cheetahs, like the animal, but that wasn't for me. Yeah, I'm really enjoying my space in data science. I'm also realizing that data science isn't just sitting behind your computer coding. There's so many different fields of it. I started off as a data scientist and as a coder, and now during my day, I very rarely code, and I work more in the managerial space. So data science is very wide and very broad. Oh yes, you can definitely work in public health. Someone from Indaba X, that I can't remember his name. He has an actual doctorate degree. He is Dr. Chris. He's worked in hospitals before medicating people, and he has just started his master's in data science, so using medical health data in data science. So yes, anything that has data, you can work in it. How much do South African data scientists make? We're looking, I'm going to quickly do some quick math. Rands to dollars. So junior, on the very junior end, is probably looking at $1,000 per month, where I have a friend who has a doctorate's degree in data science, and he was making about $7,000 per month. But a normal salary is probably around $22,000 per month, if that helps. Yeah, 1,000, normal 2,000. If you've studied data science until doctorate, and that's all you do, you can earn up to 7,000.
Thank you so much, Amy. Have you ever thought about it this way? If you could do it all over again, do you think you would switch to data science?
No, I'm really comfortable with the course I took. I'm really glad that I have my physics background. It definitely scratched an itch for me. Working at Zindy, we've come across a couple physics problems. At Zindy, we deal with lots of different problems, and we have biologists on the team, we have botanists, we have a physicist, we have an arts major, and I think because our team is so dynamic that we pull on everyone else's skills. So data science finds itself in all places, and I'm really glad that I can now look at my physics with a data science eye.
Thank you for your answer. Ruth, was it always your plan to dive into data science immediately after you were done with electrical and telecom engineering?
For me, no, not really, but I knew I wanted to code in Python. So, and data, I wondered, do I have to like go back to scratch, you know, from computer science and software dev? That sounded a bit scary. So I decided, you know what, let me take data science. Sounds a bit more, and relate to or rather understand easily. Yeah, but then I think at this, I wouldn't, having been in the field, I wouldn't say it's a switch really, because as Amy was saying, you get other professions like the doctors, the botanists working with trying to do data science. Why? Because they just want to get the concepts from data science, bring them back to their fields, you know, and integrate them together. So that's the same thing I feel with me. I keep trying to go back to telecommunication and see how data science will be useful in that field. So you see, without my prior knowledge in telecommunication, I wouldn't be able to do that. So it's the same thing with Indaba. On Indaba's page and also Zindy's page, you see a lot of projects on the health side.
Yeah.
I keep wondering, wow, do I need to now go study medicine? Then I can integrate the two. But you see, these people are really at an advantage because you can mix the two. So it's not really, you're not switching from your career full. You can decide to be a data science fully and just go wherever and analyze. But then if you really are passionate about your undergrad, you can just come back and fix it in somewhere, because everywhere, literally everywhere in this people are emitting data like more than one or something, so you can do so much with it. Yeah.
Okay. Sam, I'd like to give you an opportunity to weigh in on the matter, since you also mentioned that you'd like to maybe mix the two worlds together, biochemistry and data science. How do you feel about the moment that you decided, okay, from here onwards, I'll pursue data science, and then maybe I'll come back and try and merge the two worlds for myself?
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much. So for me to get to data science was because of the necessity, first of all. And personally, I think had not been employed. I started my business where I was still in campus. And so where I was still serving my clients, they could come and ask me, where can I get someone to, to analyze my data? So, and I saw that as a gap. So the next thing was like, where can I learn this? Is it in JQuat? Because I was in JQuat. No, because whatever they were offering, I couldn't find that it was enough for me. Maybe what they were teaching is SPSS, which I find it's more a bit, outdated. So then I remember there's this advert that I saw being posted by Moringa School. So people were supposed to apply for either software or data science, and they were just starting the data science. So I knew that since there was already a gap that existed, so I think that was the right time to apply, But at the first one, I missed it when they were doing the interview. Then I went back again and convinced them, no. I don't want to do software. I want to do data science. So please, I'm begging you, let me do this. So I was so much aware of what I want, in as much as I wanted to code, because whatever kind of code that I was introduced into when I was still in campus was, I think it was introduction to C, which I find it like we did nothing in campus. So when I joined Moringa, then that's where the journey started of being a data scientist. I was able to learn a lot within that short time that I had. And so far, I've been able to have a discussion with my former lecturers from a campus where I did my undergraduate. And they have been, sharing a lot that in terms of gap that exists in the medical and the amount of data that is being collected. So I'm trying to see how I can be able to merge the two, because there are a lot of opportunities, as well as what I mean, I say there's money, at the end of the day, in as much as you're going to school to learn, the most important thing is what gets in the pocket. So that has been my drive, and just to make sure that I'm able to pursue it, what I've done is I've been able to combine with a number of friends. One is doing was perfect in terms of statistics. He's doing his PhD. Another one is in microbiology. So I've been able to bring them on board, and we have formed kind of a company that will be working on projects, be it on finance, because the guy is good in finance. Another one is good in medical, and with now my skill, we can now be able to grow. So that has made me to realize there are so much opportunities in terms of being able to apply the data science skill that you have to your previous career, or maybe to those who are willing to shift from one career to the other. Then let not the thing of saying that I don't have prior skills on coding, so I cannot be able to do this. I did it. So you as well, whoever that is listening to us, you can do it.
Okay, that's very informative. And while we're still on it, which was your first data science job? Because I'm thinking, okay, fine, you want to start into data science, you just got out of Moringa School, and now you're applying for jobs. Who gave you that chance? Who gave you the very first chance?
Mark, just to surprise you, I think Moringa was the second job that I applied since I left Moringa. I'm this kind of a person who believes in creating opportunity. Okay. So after Moringa, I was able to work with Omdena on a number of projects. Though some of them were just to gain the skills. But I think I remember a project that I worked on. I think I would remember 3 interesting ones. One was there's a competition that was launched by Red Bull, and I'm sure probably you come across it. So what they were doing is like they wanted people who could be able to apply the skills they have to solve some of the challenges that are happening in the community. So the challenge that I took was how I could be able to apply data science and then take it to a lab setup, because what we used to do for us was go to the lab. Maybe just to explain to you, for you to understand, when you go to a hospital, they tell you that you have to take a sample to the lab. So what happens in the lab is they take that sample, then they grow something we call cultures. But for them to determine which kind of disease that you're suffering from, they wait maybe for 2 days to observe what's happening. So I was looking on how I can be able to automate the whole process instead of someone coming to look at like what has happened in terms of growth. We can have a system that is already automated using artificial intelligence to be able to know that you're suffering from this disease. So that was one of my projects, and I think we became number 4 nationally. That is data science and medical. Then the second project that I did was on education, trying to understand the education perspective in terms of data science. And we did for a company called Eneza. Lastly, then maybe another one that I did was for Modena on applying artificial intelligence to understand the student debt crisis in US, which I found it to be very interesting, and I was able to learn a lot. So far, I can say there is light at the end of the tunnel, in as much as I haven't been able to apply for most of the job, because I believe in myself that I can create opportunity. So that's why I've been able to even form my own companies to be able to work on such kind of data.
Okay, thank you so much, Sam. What about you, Ruth? First job, first work experience with data science. What is it like for you?
First of all, let me just say this: the financial motivation, that was not in me, because telecom used to be like way better. But then, now getting into data science was not really financially motivated. So I just wanted to learn. I don't know if that's a thing or someone here wants to do that. You just want to know how to do these things and not die without it being your bucket list. So this was in my bucket list. So money, when now after completing school and became really broke, spending my savings. So that's when money became a motivation.
Makes sense.
So for the first job, I got it through the project we did with Moringa. So I interned for the company for some time. They were building, I wanted to complete the project. So I was You were building a recommendation system, so I wanted to do it to see it to completion. But that was not possible. I had some health issues. Then, okay, so the next job I got was in computer vision. That's like a whole other field. So that actually opened up my eyes.
Without being so technical about it, what's computer vision about for the people who are still starting out? Yeah, just without being so technical about it.
Let's say you have CCTVs and you want to detect license plates. So just build a recognition. You train a model. Okay, you train a machine to do that, so it can recognize license plates that pass. Or you want to detect your sisters. I'm actually building that for my family. You want to detect this is called Rose, this is Sasha. You can do that as long as you have a lot of images of them. So yeah, so that's quite interesting. And you see, the opportunity I get to learn. And my dad would ask, what's the future? Like, is it futuristic? So you really don't have to look at now. Is it paying me now? But what will I gain in the long run? You see, what Sam is saying, he had to start somewhere, you know? You have to start somewhere, and then in the long run, whatever experience you're getting, it will come pay off. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay. That's an interesting answer. Amy, girl who was acting dumb in her class, what was your first job? We will remember that throughout the entire webinar.
I mean, I think it's very true. I feel that I was never the top of my class. I always tried. I tried my hardest to be the person at the top, to be the teacher's favorite, and it just wasn't for me. I was that person that just was in the middle, sometimes at the bottom, sometimes mainly at the middle. And I think it's really important to know that there are people that weren't brilliant the whole time, and now they are brilliant. And I can very confidently say that I'm brilliant at my job, and I love being a data scientist. So my first job, during university, I always tutored high school maths and physics. After university, I worked as a conservationist. I worked with cheetahs, like hands-on every day, feeding them, cleaning them. And then I tried my hardest to find an internship anywhere. And my first job was with Zindy. So I started off as an intern, became a data scientist, and I'm now a lead, which is quite important in the software development world.
It's something to tell for sure for someone who claims to be, middle, bottom, varying, which is really impressive.
I think it's really important.
Yeah. You see, one of the things that scares people about data science is the coding bit, the statistical mathematics bit. You're thinking, oh God, I don't have a background in this. And then you kind of mentioned right now that you barely use coding in your job at the moment. Hold on, yeah. So I'm thinking, this is to all of you. We'll start off with Amy. What are the tools, the data science tools that you've used the most at your workplace?
Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow is a website that people ask all their questions. How do I do this? How do I do that? And I think that's the tool I use the most. And if any software developer and any data scientist tells you the truth, that's all they use as well. Otherwise, my main coding language is in Python. I can code in script, and I normally use Spider for that. Otherwise, I use a Jupyter notebook, and I use Google Colab. So I mainly use Python. Just type in how to use Python on the internet and you'll figure it out. I also code in SQL. I code in MySQL. At Zindy, we have huge databases, especially when we're trying to figure out data for a competition. So I use SQL for that. A quick tip on SQL, spend a lot of effort learning it for the first time. I have learned SQL 3 times. first time, I didn't pay any attention, and I passed through on the skin of my pants at university. I started working at Zindy, and I learned it again and didn't really pay much attention. And it came to bite me in the bum again. And this time I've learned it and I've got it underneath my belt. And if I just learned it once, it would have saved me a lot of time. So those are my coding languages. As a manager, I use Trello, which is a Kanban style of agile. Sounds fancy, sounds bougie, but it's just a good way to keep things in a team. It's like a sticky note. It's like just your normal sticky note, but it's on the computer and you can move it around so everyone can see what you're doing. I use Slack and Gmail.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Samuel, what about you? In your very many endeavors in trying to merge your two fields, which ones have you used? Which skills, data science related skills, have you used the most in your field?
So thank you so much, Mark. I think I might not be an outlier comparing with what Amir said, because you find that those are things that I use mostly on a daily basis. You find that I have my notebook here with me. I have my Jupyter notebook here with me. Definitely my language is Python, and as much as I know a bit of R, but I'm so much comfortable with Python. Then as well, in terms of visualization, I'm sure like Tableau also come handy in terms of the way I represent my data. So in terms of project management as well, Jira is there, Jira that is. Yeah. And sorry, I'm confusing Jira with my Ajira because my company as well is known Ajira. So then there's Trello. I've used Trello as well. So I think just as I've started to say that I might not be an outlier as compared to what Amir said, because the field is, more or less the same. Yeah.
Okay. Ruth, skills that you've used primarily in your field, in your line of work?
So I think I represent most of the newbies here, but I had not used any of these tools prior to this. So getting to work with Trello for teams and just coordination, that was really, I still really do use it. Also, definitely Python. I kind of like R also for visualization. It's better than Python, but Tableau and Power BI is quite famous out here. So yeah, that too. And what else? Use Colab, either the notebooks and yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and Python, yeah.
Okay. Interesting selections. I haven't had anybody say statistics like Bayesian statistics, or you're looking at binomial probability distributions. So as you can see, for those guys who are listening to us, statistics is something that you do learn when you're trying to figure out data science for sure. But the people in our panel today are clearly telling you that of course you're going to learn it, but you're not going to use so much of it primarily, so you're going to use other skills for sure. And I love your answers, all of them. They seem really similar. Like I haven't had anybody saying, other than Ruth, obviously, saying that they really like R, which is kind of disappointing. I feel like it has bad publicity, but it's cool. It is what it is. But for this one, I'm still going to ask all of you, which tangible steps have you taken when you're trying to make progress in your data science career? Which tangible steps, like would you tell someone what would you advise someone when they're starting off in their data science career to do as they start to make progress? Where you're starting, which courses could you use to supplement your own career field. We'll just start off in reverse order again. So we'll just start again from Ruth, who was speaking recently.
Okay, for me, I would advise someone when making the switch, just be as open-minded as possible. So first of all, just get the basics. Once the basics are out of the way, then now you can experiment. You can experiment. They're different. Once you get into data science, you realize there's so much. Like someone was saying on the chat, there's so much. But then you have to have like, if I have, it's like a triangle. You have, the base is really wide, but you have to start from the base. Then you go up the apex. So you have to get to the tip and just know what you really love. If you have, just have to like each, if you don't like, throw it away. That's the same thing I did until I landed, like I'm still doing, I land where I want to be, because I still feel there's so much. I need to experiment a lot and be really open-minded. If I see something interesting happening, why not? Why not? I mean, Moringa will give you this mindset of, I can do it. But then sometimes
Right? Yeah.
You know what, this is this Ruth 2.0? I need to know what this is. So you feel like you can do literally everything. So yeah, just do not be afraid, especially for newbies. You can't start saying, you know what, I want to do computer vision. No, you have to like really experiment, do different projects. You know, now I love geospatial data, I love time series, I love this, I love computer vision, I love, you know what, I just love predictive modeling. You know, you just have to have a little bit of everything, then you can decide now, where do I need to focus on? Yeah.
Okay. That's one. I'm pretty sure Sam, as a technical mentor at Moringa, is really happy to hear that students after Moringa are really just keeping the growth mindset living on. Sam, what about you? What tangible steps do you think, when you're starting off, you should take? Like, just tell our listeners what they could do. They're starting off, they want to make progress in their career in data science. As a professional in that field, what would you tell them?
So I know, like personally, because I've been through the system, and I was one of the litmus group that that was brought in, and I can really attest to it that the way the curriculum is structured in a way that definitely you have to expand your mind, just to show you that is elastic, meaning it can expand. So, and that's one of the things that I really like with Moringa, and that's what also is a culture that we are trying also to cultivate, and we are still keeping it. And so, when it comes to venturing into data science, one, I would say it sure depends with understanding what's your interest, like what is driving you, the passion that you have for it. And then maybe you could also have like, a plan, like how do I want to get into it? Do I need to go to a boot camp? Like maybe let's say, for example, like Moringa, where I can be able to do the course like I did, or do I want to maybe subscribe to those, online courses? I think it all revolves about how you're going to lay down your plan or your guide based on the research that you have done that's gonna suit you, and by the end of the training, that you have the proper skills that might help you to go on. And then something else is you need to know your background. Knowing your background, I think that's also something that's very important, because for me, even when I was joining data science, I know that I'm going to end up into medical stuff, because that's why I feel like I'm so much confident into that. So knowing your background as well is something that is important, and that doesn't mean as well that you cannot switch. You're hearing that Ruth did something to do with communication. I mean telecommunication, but still can be able to do something that is related to finance. Because whatever that was given to her, it is something that you can change your mind. You can unlearn what you know and learn something else. So that's something that's also very important that you also need to consider while you are deciding to get into data science, as well as who do you look at as your examples. Because I know for me, the people that I knew by then was, I'm sure someone by the name Brian Mwandau was one of the guys who taught us, as well as Samuel Kimani and Kennedy Wangare. These are guys who I know at a personal level, and I can say they have really inspired me in terms of getting into data stuffs. So having someone that you look at, I think that's also something that's very important, and someone who keeps you on toes. Yeah.
Thank you, Sam. Very informative. Very informative. Amy, personally, what could you say that which tangible steps did you take when you were starting off in your data science career?
Not tangible steps, but hard work and determination. There's no way to measure that except you just need to work hard and be enthusiastic. Maybe a tangible step is don't try and do it by yourself. If you join Moringa, you've got an amazing alumni behind you. If you join Zindy, you've got an amazing community. I still reach out to my university friends for help. I still reach out to my lecturers for help. A tangible step would be remember your community and work hard with determination and enthusiasm.
Awesome. Keep an open mind, have a mentor, as Sam said. Amy here says, you could always reach out for help from your community members. It's not, I think that the hardest step is maybe starting, and then you just have all of these things to consider as well. So start somewhere, really just start somewhere and explore all your options, and don't forget where you came from. Thank you so much. Amy, while I still have you here, what's it like working in a startup environment? Yeah, this one is directly for you.
So much fun. So much fun. There is a question. I don't know how to answer this. Okay, I'm going to answer this in two parts, and when we get to the questions at the end, there's another question there. I count myself really lucky to work at a startup. The salary is not the best, but the experience is incredible. When I started off as an intern, I was doing sales. I was finding clients. I was creating the data sets and the competitions. I was doing social media. I was doing legal. I was paying people from Mauritius. So now those are 5 things I can add to my CV, amongst other things. So at a startup, you don't come in as, I'm a junior data scientist. I came in as an intern, but I was social media, I was legal, I was sales. And I really appreciate that about my data science internship. Another challenge with a startup is because there's so much work, I often overworked myself because I wanted to be the best. So I worked really hard, and I often had to work harder to get the data science skills and the coding skills because I'm not very good at that. What I also enjoyed about a startup is you have to learn quickly. There's no chance to go home, look at it over the weekend, find a good textbook. No, the client wants the solution this afternoon, and you get it to them this afternoon. So startup life is amazing. It's crazy. It's busy. You do everything in between data science, and you learn really quickly.
Okay.
One thing that I did miss quickly about a startup is I didn't have a mentor. As I was the only data scientist at Zindy for a very long time, I didn't have anyone to turn to for questions. So if you decide to move into a startup environment, make sure that you have a mentor either in the company or someone outside.
Okay. The importance of that question was based on, even from my own personal experience, applying for jobs immediately, like after getting all the skill sets that I got. many of the companies that you see offering jobs are startups. So I wanted people to at least make an informed decision should they really dive into that field. Yeah. And I really think that you've been of much help for that, for sure. Thank you so much. To Samuel, you did biochemistry, and I'm assuming that there isn't really a lot of mathematics in that. How do you break into data science without such a strong mathematical background? Because we all know that there's a statistics part of it. Amy keeps reminding us that she didn't do a stats course and she's our role model. But I think Sam will answer this for us.
So I think what I would say is, as I said from the start, it's all about passion. And so if you have passion for whatever that you are looking for, then it means that you are ready to go an extra mile to see that you have already learned something at the end of the day. And so that has been my thing. The only start that I did was in high school, then campus. I think it was just introduction to mathematics, And I remember when I was at my fourth year, I did biostatistics. I think that's where I did a bit of deep of statistics. But ever since, it was like a must for me to learn statistics and application part of it. So I would say it has really costed me in terms of looking for resources, spending much time understanding a concept, those hypothesis thing. There is, I don't know, hypothesis, type 1, type 2, what do they mean? What does chi-square mean? I had to understand them, because when I'm presenting my codes or maybe my report and say that I applied this kind of sampling, why that and not the other one, those are things that I really forced me to, that I had to know the statistic part of it, in as much as I didn't have the background. But I think it was, I would say it was a must that you learn, and I'm not scaring anyone, but that's the reality that in one way or another, you have to run statistics. And also the good thing is, like the way Moringa School has scheduled or maybe organized his content, is it has done it in a way that you first of all run the basics of Python, and then the next thing that you do is stats. So by the time you're getting to do your modeling and all that kind of stuff that happen behind the hood of any kind of a model, it's all about statistics. So you should be able now to understand and even explain what happens. So I would say it's all about determination, passion, and going an extra mile to see that you already learn whatever that you have to learn.
Okay. I'm really hoping you didn't scare anybody who feels like mathematics is a challenge, because I can also I can also add to what Sam is saying for sure. I'm a physics nerd. I admit that for sure, which means that I also love math truly, and I've done a lot of complex math, given that my degree is in astrophysics. However, the math that you encounter in data science is so straightforward and easy to grasp that I would tell you, even if you're coming from a background that does not have any mathematical aspect to it, you would grasp it. And I feel like it's not really something that would stop you from diving into this really amazing career path, because at the very end of the day, whatever you're learning, the math that you'll be learning could also very much be applicable, again, to the machine learning models that you're building. But at the same time, it's not so complicated that you would feel, oh, okay, I can do this. This is not for me. Let me just go into something else. I hate to hate on chemistry, but let me just go into something else, like chemistry. Data science is not for me. I can see Amy getting entertained by that joke because as physicist. But yeah, the point is, math, the statistics behind data science should not scare you. In fact, you should look forward to it. At least you'll have bragging rights that you can do math and you are good at it. maybe now one final question for Ruth, and then we can wrap up the questions that I have for the panelists. I can see Sasha is even telling me that I have very limited time. Yeah. So Ruth, you just got into the field of data science, so you're looking into things right now, and you're starting to make a name for yourself. So I'm going to ask you this: how marketable do you think data science is? I'm hoping I'm audible, guys. Mic check. Yeah, Ruth. So could you just maybe, because I know this is actually a defining factor. We all know we didn't have money at some point, and we were curious about this. So in your own words, how marketable do you think data science is actually?
So I think it's super marketable. That depends on what you want. Really, what do you want? Which field do you want to work in? So I'm not saying you have to be choosy about the jobs that you're going to take, but for me, I'm very choosy, and I don't want to be like super general, because that will take up so much of my time. Considering I had to go back to school again, but then I am super market. I keep seeing, especially for the startups and also for the, what do you call, like monolithic organizations, the ones that were established, like, because now they need to move cloud, they need to move their data, they need to move everything, so all that comes, people need to digitize their organizations. So you see, this is data you're dealing with. They need to know, so what are we going to do, where are we going to start? So I feel it's really marketable, but on different aspects. There's the aspect of community work. There's the aspect of working for organizations as a data analyst, business intelligence. There's an aspect of machine learning, I feel it's super broad, but once you find your niche, and you just know where you belong. Because for me, I have applied for several jobs actually, but then most of them, okay, they either come back unsuccessful, or I feel once I'm in the interview, I feel, no, that's not the path that I want, So I just try something else. So currently, as I'm saying, I'm focusing on cloud, because I want to merge again the two, data science and cloud, and also, yeah, just keep, because Corona has shown us, we really need data scientists and data analysts out there. And I think most people also confuse this with digital marketing, or is it digital analysts? Yeah, if there's such a job. All tangled, yeah. So it depends on which field you want to go for. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you. Very informative as always. And that really concludes the session about the questions that I had for the panelists. Now, as Sasha has also written in the chat box, it's the Q&A session for like 20 minutes. Yeah, I think I didn't get that wrong. Yeah, 20 minutes Q&A session. So these are questions from you guys. They could either come from the chat box, or some of them could be sampled from when you're registering for the sorry, when you're registering for the webinar, there are some questions that you could have put down. So I'm just going to sample some from the chat box that haven't been addressed. I've been noticing that the panelists have been addressing them. So like this one, Frederick says, how about understanding just how in data science, just the hows in data science and the whys of technologies and algorithms. I've seen some good machine learning engineers who know very little mathematics. Okay. I'm pointing this one towards Amy. Could you take this one?
So for data science, when you get to the machine learning part of it, all you need to know is how to draw a straight line, because that's going to be your best fit line between the points. All you need to know is how to calculate the average and the standard deviation. That's all what you should have done in your last year of school. I'm really grateful for my maths background, because I'm going to throw out a scary word now, linear algebra. I can see how a model works in the linear algebra type of way, but you don't need that. I've seen brilliant data scientists, ML engineers that have really shoddy maths backgrounds. As long as an important part about data science is understanding the data. In Python, there's many amazing libraries. What I often see is people just throwing a library or throwing a machine learning model at it. I'm a data scientist. Look, I wrote some code. That's not data science. As long as you're understanding what model you're applying, you don't have to understand the scary maths behind it. You just have to understand, oh, this is a decision tree. A decision tree works by going down yes, no branches. That's all the maths you need to know.
Thank you. You've actually unlocked a memory of Rose as my teacher. She used to grill us a lot about whether or not we understood our data. And yeah, at the very least, we could do so many things, but she would always come down to, do you understand the data that you have? So yeah, that's really important. I can second that for sure. Sasha?
Just before you continue, I wanted to ask if the panelists could share, like examples in these math and statistics concepts that people should grasp. So I had Amy mention a couple like linear algebra, standard deviation, and the likes. So maybe if you guys could just list them down in the chat box, it would be great, so that people know, like, okay, so these are the concepts in math and stats that I should focus on. I should build my strengths on this and this, and just not spend so much time trying to master everything in stats. Yeah, back
Thank
to
you,
you,
Sasha.
Mark.
Thank you. So I do remember that Sam said something about working on projects, and he actually listed the first two that he did. So this question comes from one of the attendees, and it's someone was asking. Wait, give me 1 second. I'm sorry. My eyes are failing me. Anyway, it was about projects. Yeah, if I'm a beginner, how long will it take me to complete a project to satisfaction? And I'm assuming it's not like a classroom project, so maybe like a real life business problem project.
So thank you, Mark, for the question, and also to the one who have asked the question. So what I would like to say is this. First of all, I think that question is more of like, I don't know whether it's closed or question open, because like when you ask how long it's gonna take, first of all, it depends with you as a person. Then it also depends, are you doing as a team? If you're doing as a team, probably you might work at it fast as compared to when you're working as an individual. And so these are kind of maybe conclusions that I would make out of that statement, is that just work on what you can be able to do, and then where you feel like you need help, then always feel free to reach out. That is when you're doing your own project. Then for the other part of it is that get to be engaged. Like for me, where I started even after Moringa was just to join Omdena. Basically what Omdena is an AI company, AI and data science company that's based in New York. And what they do is they pick some projects that are more related to community level, and then they make it open for people to participate. And what maybe you can do is you can try join one. You join one of the community work on project, and maybe I would just give an example, and I will share the link for people to apply how I came up with the project and how I'm intending to do. So there's this project that was, something that was posted by the county, that is Kiambu County, that they feel like there is more resources that are needed in the schools but how do they come up to that justification that they need more resources? And if they need more resources, which are these resources? How do they affect, the school performance? These are something that I believe the county cannot even be able to substantiate. Okay, so what I'm doing is, this is a project that's going to run for a whole month. Then if it runs for a whole month, then it means that we are going to have the whole data science project from the cycle, that is the beginning of a project to the end of a project, running for a month. So meaning we are going to have different collaborators for it. And so whoever that maybe feels that he or she is interested in it, you can just register to the link that I'm going to share. And then it's going to be an opportunity to network with people, also learn and sharpen your skill as well. So, but for the time frame, I think it all depends with the set out outline that has already been given. And if it's your project, you can also as well set your time frame on how long you're going to take on that project.
Okay. I think Ruth can take the next one. Thank you so much, Sam. Ruth, this one is really about chemistry, but the point is they're switching from one discipline to another in terms of the masters. So the person asks, I want to make a switch from chemistry. Most universities prefer students with in-depth computer science background. I only did a few courses and learned Python and SQL by myself. I need advice on how to go about this switch. Given that your undergrad is in telecoms and then your your master's is in big data technologies, how did you manage to get that? Because I can for sure second that. You can see that one of the requirements every once in a while is computer science or IT.
Yeah. So for chemistry, so I don't know, the speaker, the attendee who asked the question wants to switch to a master's in science.
Yeah.
Okay, so for that, as I said before, I feel you need to first know what, now that we've explained what data science is about and how it can be merged with your field, with chemistry. So are you going to leave chemistry behind and just focus on data science? Because if that's what you're going to do, then you're in the right place. So Moringa will help you transition into that. But then you see, at the same time, if you have chemistry and you're applying for let's say chemistry analyst, data masters in chemistry or something, because then they will see, wow, so you have chemistry as your undergrad, but then you decided to do another degree in data science. So definitely now ask, what are we going to do here in the masters in our graduate program? We are going to show you how to piece them together. So that's the same thing. For me, I did telecom. Now I did data science, but then I couldn't apply for my big data without showing that I know something in data science, because your graduate level, you're not going to start from scratch and you didn't have the skills from data science. So you need somewhere to bridge. It's like you're doing a bridge. You're bridging your skills, So it's the same thing. So if you're going to apply for a graduate degree in analysis and that conjoins with your undergraduate, then you need a middleman. That's what Moringa does. It bridges the gap for you. Yeah. And I think also because when applying to big data, no university would accept me directly from telecommunication to big data. You see, there's nothing, how I can't join the dots, So they wanted me to do an MBA because why are you going to big data? Will you, why do you want to waste your money? You have no background in this. Yeah, so I think it's super important to do that. Yeah, just bridge your skills.
Thank you for the very comprehensive answer. I'm pretty sure that has answered someone who was really curious about their master's program and how they could switch. Amy, you kind of get very, very exposed to the very, very many branches of data science at Zindi, given the competitions. So could you very, very briefly just explain the various career paths that one can specialize in data science?
Sure. Before I get onto that, there's a question here that I really want to answer.
Okay.
And that is, I'm going to graduate soon, and I'm looking to join a specific field of work. So I'm talking from a very privileged space. I have a job and I absolutely love the job that I'm in. However, I'm also a huge environmentalist and ethics person. So after you get your degree in data science, I know that the oil industry, oil and gas and fracking, absolutely loves data scientists. And just as my piece, I'd really like you to think before joining a company and sharing your data science skills. However, a job is a job. So when you're applying for jobs, apply anywhere and everywhere and see what you get. I applied for 157 jobs. I got 3 interviews and I'm starting to work, and that's how I got to Zindy. So that's just about my career history. So what are the different fields of data science? The most important field is we're talking about tabular data sets. That's the data that you're most comfortable with. It'll come in an Excel file or a CSV file. You'll do something called prediction or classification. An example of a prediction is, say you've got a data set, the person's age, the color of the car the person drives, the color of the car, the area, and can you predict if that person will have an accident or not? So that's a type of prediction. Then we have computer vision. Computer vision is anything to do with images. You can do pixel classification on an image. So can you draw a stripe? Can you tell me that this pixel over here is black, this one over here is a white? Then there's geospatial and satellite imagery. So can you use satellites and stuff to tell you where to go? I'm horrible at it and don't know much about it. Next, we have natural language processing. So that's anything to do with text and audio. So can you translate one language to another? Can you read a tweet and say if it's a positive or negative tweet? So data science is huge and broad. If you would like to get a taste of everything, I recommend going on to Zindy, because then you'll be able to select that, oh, I want to do a computer vision, or no, I'm going to do a translation challenge. Yes, so short answer, it's broad, but determination, excitement, and just do it. Did I answer the question?
Very, very comprehensively. Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
All right. So Ruth, you raised your hand.
So in preparation for this panel, I came across a very interesting talk. So for explaining, I think it's about the the first 20 hours of planning something new. I think that's what it was talking about. So there's this theory that goes around that you need 10,000 hours of maximum concentration to learn a skill, but they were demystifying that and just breaking it down. So the speaker said one thing that really caught my eye and everything else. So they said, if you want to run, what's the first thing that you do? What's the first thing that you do if you want to run? No, you have.
Do you crawl? You crawl and then you walk and then you run?
No, but you have. Okay, if you no, like the really first thing you have to do, you have to like move your feet. You know, you have to move your feet.
Yeah.
So this is the same. Let me tell you, I wanted to join this field for so long, but then there was something holding me back. And then in the end, I had to move my feet, you know, and then from moving my feet, that's when, wow, my eyes moved, everything moved, my head moved, you know, but then you have to move, just move, take that leap, just take that leap, and then everything else will open up for you. You'll just see it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So I'm thinking it's 6:40, which means that the questions that I had for the panelists are covered and the Q&A section is about to also come to an end, unless I'm giving a brief window for one more question, if there's any question. Sam, what you've put in the chat box is more of a statement than a question, right? That what it takes to translate from one career to data science.
So, Mark, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so there's that link that I have already shared there, which shows maybe just demonstrate an example of maybe which field someone is, maybe someone who is in finance. So what does it take to transit from finance to data science? So you can try some of the things that maybe you could have if you are maybe transiting from like medical, a medical background in terms of physiology and such kind of stuff. So what also does it take you? The same for software, and also it also proposes if you have done some software, maybe your area of focus maybe should be in terms of maybe to be a data engineer or machine learning engineer. Just directs you to where you fit properly. Then if it's for those who have the finance background, that means you have some accounts and all that, then you could also focus on more into time series analysis when it comes to data science and such kind of stuff. So the link has a lot in terms of cutting across different people from different background who wants to transit now to data science.
Okay. Thank you.
Back to you.
Thank you so much. I'll answer this question from Amy. I think she's done a role reversal, but thank you. I'll answer it as we close up the Q&A section. So how does one manage to grasp the concepts coming from a non-programming background? In my initial fields, I think I only did C at the very, very start of my undergrad, and then I did C# in my third year, just because I wanted to, not because it was a requirement. So I didn't really have that heavy of a programming background. How did Moringa make sure that we all got this properly? Because at some point I remember we were doing a tutorial on random forest regression, and the tutorial had a lot of importing libraries that we were all asking, when will we ever just do this from memory? The thing is, when you're starting out, you're spoon-fed like a baby. Literally, that is what I'm going to say. Moringa just teaches you, if you want to print the sum of two integers, this is how you do it. There are data structures called lists and dictionaries and tuples and sets, and this is how many we have. And they give you practice examples and questions to answer and projects to work on. So how do you grasp all of this if you're coming from a non-programming background? Well, I'd say, first of all, you have to learn the basics. It's very, very simple. You print a string and you're like, okay, print hello world. And I don't know why every programming language always starts out with hello world. We should really change that, but it's really what you learn to begin with. And you're like, oh, so this is a string. But if you don't put the quotations, then it doesn't recognize that. You get that. And then you're moving on. You're learning something now. How do you use for loops? How do you use while loops? So first of all, you're taught really, really well. I don't know, Moringa should pay me for this because I'm marketing them, but you're taught really, really well, and it's really, really basic, and you get it down properly. Secondly, you have to have personal incentive. You can't just rely on the school itself to be like, I will teach you everything. Moringa will teach you what you need to know, and then you'll have to go out of your way to learn a little bit more. You'll take the extra step. And programming and writing code, it's just like how you write on your book, except you're teaching a computer, and a computer will only ever give you results given your code. So if it's bad code, then it's bad results. And if that doesn't motivate you to actually take the time to learn how to, YouTube tutorials or your friends to write better code, then I don't know what will. there are just steps to it. You learn the basics, you get the basics, and then you build on the basics. Just like how you build a building, you build a foundation, and if the foundation is shaky, then the building itself will be shaky. But if it's you taking time to you really work on your basics, then at the end of the day, you'll find yourself writing really, really amazing code. And yeah, Stack Overflow will really be your best friend when it comes to programming for sure. I'll just thank you, panelists, for really just giving us your time. I know you've had probably a long day at work, and you still took the time to answer these questions and help people who are really on the fence about starting a career in data science. Thank you for answering honestly, and thank you for being very, very comprehensive. I was your moderator. I was Mark, and I think I really even passed my time limit by 5 minutes, but I'm going to hand it back to Sasha.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much, Mark, for moderating the panel, and to our panelists as well. Thank you once again for taking the time to even share your experiences with us, your journey. And I believe, or rather, let me not speak for the audience. So I'd like to take this time to just hear from 2-3 people from our audience on like how they found the session. Have your questions been answered? Have we demystified some of those scary facts that are out there around, like, making a career switch or even getting into data science? What does the industry look like? Are there any prospects for me? If I jump on these skills or, sign up to a school, a program to learn data science, will I still be marketable? So these are some of the questions that we got from you, and we have and they have been, exhaustively addressed by the panelists. But let me hear from 2 or 3 of you on how you found this session. Let's just hear your feedback, and if you have an additional question that has not been addressed, this is your chance to also ask your question. So if you would like to share with us, please just indicate maybe on the chat box, and I'll unmute you so that you can ask the questions. Okay, so I can see here KK, Benji, I think this is Ben. So Ben is asking, are our panelists open to taking the role of mentorship? To our attendees. So Mark, Amy, Ruth, Samuel, are any of you willing to mentor some of our attendees?
I'll let the panelists go first because it was very specific.
Yes, hello, hello. This is KK Benji.
Yes, Benji.
Yes, I say so because I've already taken a boot camp with a company called Simply Learn in India. It was a data science master's program, and of course, it was quite deep. But at the time, I was working full time, so I couldn't really slow down and absorb everything. So it's now that I have the time and I'm doing the projects and I'm getting a feel of it. I think I'm almost there yet. I just need some coaching to get over the hump.
I can maybe speak here. Benji, as my skill doesn't lie in coding, what I can offer to everyone here is I'll put my email address in. I'll be happy to mentor you in what to expect in a new job, what to expect interview-wise, how to put your best foot forward in your first 3 months at a job. That's what I can offer. However, Benji, I don't think I'm going to be able to answer all your technical questions when it comes to that.
Okay, I can see Samuel has offered. So
thank you,
Samuel.
Thank you, Amy.
Samuel has offered.
Great. So I have both Amy and Samuel. That's good enough for me. Thank you. Okay, so Rose is saying we have a session of community where you can get mentors too. Okay, so I'm willing to be part of that program as well.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Benji, for the feedback. I'm glad that you've been able to get help out of this webinar. So Samuel, maybe you can share a way for the attendees to reach out to you. If you're willing, maybe your email address or your LinkedIn profile, maybe people can reach out to you through those platforms. Amy is willing to share her email address for anyone who would like tips on preparing for the job market. After you're done with learning data science, you've done your projects, how do you land your first job and how do you navigate your first 3 months in your data science career? So they have left their contact details there. So be sure to jump on that. And can I hear from one more person on how they found the webinar? Anyone else from our audience as we come to the close of today's discussion? I would like to handpick. So Janet K, are you with us? You can tell us how you found the session. Okay. I don't know if I'm being impatient, but Janet, if you can unmute yourself, please. Or anyone, please feel free to unmute yourself and just let us know how you found the session. And yeah, any other. Levi, go ahead.
Okay, I hope you are getting me.
Yes.
Okay, it has been good. It has been informative. Thanks a lot to the panelists. I'm Levi from Kenya, and currently I'm undertaking software development at Moringa. I came across this link I received it from a friend, and so far, I think I'm considering having a data science knowledge. I mean, crossing over, because from what I heard from the panelists, it's really encouraging having seen people from different backgrounds. I mean, having their first undergrad courses differently, and then they converge and they want to apply what they learned in data science. I mean, in their first undergraduate degree in data science. So it's really encouraging. So I really liked it, and thank you for organizing such. I've learned a lot. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I can also see other feedback from Wangeshi. She's saying that it was informative, considering the fact that she would like to join a data science program next year, and she has a background in IT. Azim has also been convinced that public health specialists need more data science skills, and I believe Azim is going to take time to also learn data science skills. So as Rose had mentioned, we're going to have another event in 2 weeks, and we will be sharing the communications on that tomorrow. So we'll be bringing in, I know you guys through this session, you have heard that one of the greatest tips for you to succeed in data science is to join a community. You cannot do this alone. And you have seen that through even today's session, how we have collaborated with Zindy. We've been able to hear from people from different backgrounds in different fields, telecoms, geospatials, public health, people with medical backgrounds, and through that you've been able to see okay, so this is what happens in this particular industry. So we'll be having a session where we are gonna host a couple of data science communities. So you'll get to learn more about how to leverage on tech communities to even thrive in your data science career. So if you're new to this space, this is going to be a chance for you to acquaint yourself with other data science communities. In addition to Moringa School, to Zindi, you'll also get to learn and meet many other tech communities out there that you can join online, that you can attend their meetups even physically, depending on where you're located. So stay tuned, and we'll be sending out those invitations tomorrow. Be sure to attend our next event. Don't miss out on it. There is lots of information and opportunities for you to network. So we've come to the end of our webinar today. And once again, I'd like to thank everyone for taking their time and joining us. I hope you've learned, I hope you have picked up skills, and now you're ready to identify which path you're gonna take in your data science career. If you're gonna self-learn, we have shared a number of resources where you can get that. If you'd like to join communities, we'll keep sharing information around that. If you'd like to join a bootcamp, a program, Moringa School is definitely at the top. So be sure to check out our programs and pick which is best suited for you. So thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your evening. I've been one of your hosts. My name is Sasha, and I think Rose is still in the background. Maybe she can say bye as well, even as we come to the close of the webinar. Rose?
Yes, yes, I have also been your amazing co-host from Zindi. Thank you guys for joining in. Again, when you have those skills from Moringa School, don't just sleep on them. We have an amazing platform again at Zindi that you can test your skills. Even I can assure you, Moringa students also use Zindi to take on their projects. So please ensure that you're testing your skills, growing a foundation, and preparing yourselves for the job market. And definitely, I can assure you guys will be amazing data scientists, and will grow our African data science ecosystem. So other than that, hope to see you guys in our next session, and have a good evening.
All right.
Yes.
Bye, everyone. Take care and keep learning.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.